Good morning. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Petersburg's virtual worship service. I'm James Mack, a member of the worship committee. When Reverend Jack is away, the worship committee often is in charge of the service. Whether it's your first time to worship with us or your 100th time, we hope that you will find here questions that stretch you and liberal religious values that challenge you to join us in loving boldly, living justly, and welcoming radically. First, a few announcements. Please be sure to read your church emails and check out meetings and schedules on the church website, the RE newsletter, and Infonet. There's a lot going on despite our physical isolation. One other announcement. You'll notice if you hover your cursor in the upper right corner of your screen, there's a letter I in a white circle there. Please click on the white circle if you'd like a secure way to donate to the important work of UU St. Pete. We'll begin this morning's service by lighting our chalice. If you have a chalice or a candle in your home, please feel free to light it along with me. Now let's say together the words that remind us of our commitment to one another. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. It is good to be together, if only virtually. Today we'll be treated to a story from Children's Religious Education Coordinator Janae Johnson and a reflection by UU Minister Reverend Bud Murphy, as well as music by my husband, John Arterton, UU St. Pete Music Director, and his husband, me. Now, speaking of John, here he is to lead us in a hymn.
Good morning. Let's sing Morning Has Broken by Cat Stevens for all you old hippies.
Hello, my name is Janae Johnson. I am the Religious Education Coordinator here at Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Pete. And now for the story of all ages. What is a flag? What does it represent? Who creates them to represent what it is meant for? A flag represents pride in one's country or social stance. A flag represents unity, in some cases separation. A flag represents the land, the sea, the ambiance of what is true and their beliefs of what the flag represents for them. The study of flags is known as vexillology, from the Latin vexillum, meaning flag or banner. Flags recognized as today, made of a piece of cloth, representing a particular entity, were invented in the Indian subcontinent or the Chinese Zhou dynasty of 1046 to 256 BCE. When knights of a kingdom would come to another, the flag soared above their chariots and adorned their shining armor to represent where they are from. Even in cultures today, a bandana would be considered a flag to show off a neighborhood or of a particular area where they're from. Flags have been used for aeons to show who we are and our pride in what we do. In times where women weren't necessarily respected, a woman named Betsy Ross created one of the versions of the American flag. It was said she had met with George Washington to actually sew the first flag. The American flag has over 200 years of history as well. The color of the flags were inherited from British flags and actually have no official meaning. Since the founding of the United States in 1776, there have been 27 different versions of the flag featuring the stars and the stripes. Each new flag represented the addition of one or more of the states as the United States grew westward to fulfill what is believed to be its manifest of destiny of expansion in North America. Every country, every state, many cities and towns around the world have flags that represent where they are from. Even with many flags blowing in the wind, the feeling of separation is inevitable for some. The true unity is not under the guise of a flag, but within the morals and ethics of your well-being. So if you had to create a flag using shapes and colors of the rainbow, how would you create oneness with what you have? Thank you.
This morning's reading is by late Black American author, playwright, and poet Langston Hughes. This poem was read in our Sunday service about a year ago by Paul Bernor, but it is so timely that I wanted to share it again today. Let America be America again. Let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plain, seeking a home where he himself is free. America never was America to me. Let America be the dream the dreamers dreamed. Let it be that great, strong land of love where never kings connive nor tyrants scheme, that any man be crushed by one above. It never was America to me. Oh, let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath, but opportunity is real and life is free. Equality is in the air we breathe. There's never been equality for me, nor freedom in this homeland of the free. Say, who are you that mumbles in the dark? And who are you that draws your veil across the stars? I am the poor white, fooled and pushed apart. I am the Negro bearing slavery's scars. I am the red man driven from the land. I am the immigrant clutching the hope I seek and finding only the same old stupid plan of dog eat dog, of mighty crush the weak. I am the young man full of strength and hope, tangled in that ancient endless chain of profit, power, gain, of grab the land, of grab the gold, of grab the ways of satisfying need, of work the men, of take the pay, of owning everything for one's own greed. I am the farmer, bondsman to the soil. I am the worker sold to the machine. I am the Negro servant to you all. I am the people, humble, hungry, mean, hungry yet today despite the dream, beaten yet today. Oh, pioneers, I am the man who never got ahead, the poorest worker bartered through the years. Yet I'm the one who dreamt our basic dream in the old world while still a serf of kings, who dreamt a dream so strong, so brave, so true, that even yet its mighty daring sings in every brick and stone, in every furrow turned, that's made America the land it has become. Oh, I'm the man who sailed those early seas in search of what I meant to be my home, for I'm the one who left dark Ireland's shore and Poland's plain and England's grassy sea. And torn from black Africa's strand, I came to build a homeland of the free. The free? Who said the free? Not me. Surely not me. The millions on relief today, the millions shot down when we strike, the millions who have nothing for our pay, for all the dreams we've dreamed, and all the songs we've sung, and all the hopes we've held, and all the flags we've hung, the millions who have nothing for our pay except the dream that's almost dead today. Oh, let America be America again, the land that never has been yet, and yet must be, the land where every man is free, the land that's mine, the poor man's, Indians, Negroes, me, who made America, whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain, must bring back our mighty dream again. Sure, call me an ugly name you choose. The steel of freedom does not stain. From those who live like leeches on the people's lives, we must take back our land again, America. Oh yes, I say it plain. America never was America to me, and yet I swear this oath, America will be. Out of the rack and ruin of our gangster death, the rape and rot of graft and stealth and lies, we the people must redeem the land, the mines, the plants, the rivers, the mountains and the endless plain, all the stretch of these great green states, and make America again. This morning's reflection will be given by Reverend Bud Murphy. Reverend Murphy is a former Catholic priest, marriage and family counselor, and retired UU minister. We're proud to call him a member of UU St. Pete now. Here's Reverend Bud.
It's with humility that I embrace this opportunity to speak. Today, June 14th, has been designated as Flag Day, a day when citizens of these United States of America celebrate the American flag. When I chose the American flag in UU Patriotism as a title, I knew it was a challenging topic, and that was even before the events of the past few weeks and the pivotal event of George Floyd's death. Has a tipping point been reached? Efforts are being made across this nation and in fact across the entire planet to translate statements of protest against racism into meaningful changes that will dismantle institutional racism and invite conversations about our personal racist ideologies. To my observation, the message that was blurred by incidents of civilian violence and looting have given way to peaceful demonstrations that have grown, and a message emerges with ever greater clarity. We must act to realize the dreams of a nation living and breathing the ideals of a government of, for, and by the people, all the people. The late Charles Ray sings in the idiom of the blues. You better listen to me, brothers, because if you do, you can hear. There are voices still calling across the years. They are all crying across the ocean. They're all crying across the land. And they will till we all come to understand. None of us are free. None of us are free. None of us are free if one of us is chained. None of us are free when there are people in darkness and babies can't see the light. If you don't say it's wrong, then that says it's right. We got to try to feel for each other. Let our brothers know we care. Got to get the message, send it out loud and clear. None of us are free. None of us are free. None of us are free if one of us is chained. None of us are free. It's a simple truth we all need to see. None of us are free if one of us is chained. None of us is free. Now I swear your salvation isn't too hard to find. None of us can find it on our own. We've got to join together in spirit, heart, and mind so that every soul who's suffering will know they're not alone. If you just look around you, you're going to see what I say, because the world is getting smaller each passing day. Now it's time to make some changes. Now it's time for us to realize that the truth is shining real bright right before our eyes. None of us is free. None of us is free. None of us is free if one of us is chained. None of us is free. When we pledge allegiance to the flag, we say, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. When we pledge allegiance, it's not to a piece of cloth, it's to the republic of which the flag is a symbol. And this republic is founded on the United States Constitution. Those who become citizens of the United States swear an oath to the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America. The oath of public office says, I do solemnly swear and I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter, so help me God. Military service has a similar declaration, where there is an allegiance to the Constitution and obedience to the orders of the President of the United States, according to the regulations and uniform code of military service. The oath of the office of the President says, as stated in Article 2, Section 1, Clause 8 of the U.S. Constitution, I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of the President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution is as strong as those who pledge to uphold it. In our Declaration of Independence, we say, when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume the powers of the earth, the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. And a following list of grievances comes. Further on, he says, we say, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. It goes on, prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly not be changed for light, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, etc. But the final point is, but when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such governments and to provide new guards for their future security. If one of us is chained, none of us are free. The U.S. Constitution starts with the first 10 amendments, and we call these the Bill of Rights. They spell out the American rights in relationship to their government. It guarantees civil rights and liberties to the individual, like freedoms of speech, press, and religion, as well as assembly. It sets rules of due process, of law, and reserves all powers not delegated to the federal government to the people or the state. President Abraham Lincoln spoke these words at the battlefield near Gettysburg in November 19, 1863. 47 years ago, which happens to be 87 years after the Declaration of Independence in 1776, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. He goes on to say, now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we may take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. If one of us is chained, none of us are free. Just as there are many beliefs within the embrace of Unitarian Universalism, there are many ideas within Unitarian Universalism about the meaning of allegiance and the meaning of patriotism. I sense that most Unitarian Universalists are slow to pledge allegiance to causes. Certainly, we resist allegiance to an idea imposed by another. The most recent change to the pledge seems innocent, but there is a constitutional prohibition about the government establishing religion. I admit that I've remained silent when the words under God were spoken. Others have told me the same, a silent, imperceptible protest. Frankly, just remaining silent is woefully short of what our allegiance to the republic for which it stands requires of us. As we pledge to defend the Constitution with all its idealism against enemies, foreign and domestic, what actions can we take to defend our U.S. Constitution? I name a few. We can actively support the local community organizing of the efforts of FAST. We can support the demilitarization of domestic security forces. We can restore the ban on assault weapons. We can consider the points made by Campaign Zero, which has to do with police practices. They ban chokeholds or encourage us to ban chokeholds and strangle holds. They require officers to de-escalate situations. They require officers to give verbal warnings before using deadly force. They require officers to exhaust all alternatives before using deadly force. They require officers to intervene and stop excessive force used by other officers and report these incidents immediately to their supervisor. They ban officers from shooting at moving vehicles in all cases. They establish a force continuum that restricts the most severe types of force to the most extreme situations and creates a clear policy restricting the use of each police weapon and tactic. Finally, they require officers to report each time they use force or threaten to use force against civilians. We can vote in support of our informed beliefs about who will carry out their oaths of office on local, state, and federal levels. We can develop a relationship with our state and Florida senator and congressperson. Become a source of information for them on relevant legislation. By registering with UUJF, and I'll give you a link for anybody that wants it, by using your 9-digit zip code, you will get highly relevant alerts as your representative engages in the legislative process. Whether you pledge allegiance to the flag or you burn it, you will decide not through your silence, but through your actions. Shall a nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal have a new birth of freedom? Or will that government of the people, by the people, for the people, perish from the earth? Thank you.
Let our hearts not be hardened to those living on the margins. There is room at the table for everyone.
This is where it all begins. This is how we gather in.
There is room at the table for everyone. Oh, too long we have wandered, burdened and undone, but there is room at the table for everyone.
This is how it all begins. Let us sing the new world in.
There is room at the table for everyone. There is room for us all, and no gift is too small. There is room at the table for everyone. There's enough if we share. Come on, pull up a chair. There is room at the table for everyone. No matter who you are,
No matter where you're from,
there is room at the table for everyone. Here and now we can be the beloved community. There is room at the table for everyone. There is room for us all, and no gift is too small. There is room at the table for everyone. There's enough if we share. Come on, pull up a chair. There is room at the table for everyone. Let our hearts not be hardened to those living on the margins. There is room at the table for everyone. This is where it all begins. This is how we gather in. There is room at the table for everyone. There is room at the table for everyone. There is room at the table for everyone. Thank you for worshiping with us this morning. As I extinguish our chalice, please join me in the words for carrying light forward. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of love, or the fire of courage. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world. We hope you'll join us immediately after the service for our Zoom coffee hour. If you don't have the link easily accessible, you can just go to zoom.com and enter meeting number 827-799-4105. Again, zoom.com and meeting number 827-799-4105. We hope to see you there. And until next week, goodbye, have a wonderful week, and we hope you'll join us again for another worship service next Sunday.
Though I may speak with bravest fire and have the gift to all inspire and have not love, my words are vain as sounding brass and hopeless gain. Though I may give all I possess and striving so my love profess, but not be given by love within, the prophet soon turns strangely thin. Come, Spirit, come, our hearts control, our spirits long to be